A winning F1 Ferrari driven by Michael Schumacher is set for a whopping $8 million sale. That is a lot of money. So what do you need to know about Michael Schumacher? What's so special about this car? And what else can we tell you about Formula One racing? We'll be sure to let you know in this video, so stick around till the end. First, a recap on the career of Michael Schumacher for those who are new to the sport. I know, you're an expert on Formula One, and this man needs no introduction for you. But you should know that the league has garnered a ton of new fans in recent years, and Schumacher has been retired since 2012. So we're just trying to help make sure everyone's up to speed here, okay? Up to speed. You might hear that joke in every Formula One video. Apologies. With that said, Michael Schumacher is one of the all-time greats of the sport. No questions asked. In 1991, the Jordan Ford team needed a replacement for Bertrand Gachot after he wound up in prison for a road rage incident that turned messy. While not signed to the team, Michael was able to sub in for the 91 Belgian Grand Prix, marking the beginning of his career. 1 year later, he would return to net his first race win at the 1992 edition of the event. Switching to the Benetton team, Schumacher would make a real splash early on, finishing in the top 5 in both 1992 and 93. Then came 2 consecutive years of World Championship victory, as he took his first driver's title in 94, albeit a win mired in controversy, and followed up with not only defending the crown but taking the Constructors' title the following year. In 96, Michael Schumacher would sign with Ferrari, a team that had not held either of the 2 aforementioned titles in over a decade by that point. He placed well for them in his first season there, but more controversy hit in 97. He was in the running for the title, but a fatal error cost him everything. When his car was leaking coolant, he turned to retire from the track, and in doing so caused a risk of a severe crash, something that would cause the disciplinary committee to ultimately disqualify him from the championship. After a hard climb back up, Schumacher would take the Ferrari team to the constructor title in 99, and then follow up big in 2000 by giving them their first driver's title in a little over 20 years. Incredibly, from there his success would continue, as he took the driver's crown for 5 straight years, from 2000 to 2004. By the end of this run, he had 7 such crowns in all, which tied him for the record. And at the time of his eventual retirement in 2012, he held a number of records, including the most wins and the highest number of podium finishes. And to this day, he still has the record for the highest number of fastest laps recorded. Sadly, just a year after he called time on his career, tragedy struck, as in December of 2013, when a skiing accident led to him suffering severe trauma to his brain. He was placed in a medical coma for several months, and while details since then have been scarce, it's believed to this day that he is unable to walk or communicate. With stem cell and other such treatments still being applied, one can only hope that one day he is able to recover, at least to some degree. Well, that was a sad conclusion, and there seems to be no tactful way to segue from that to talking about a super pricey car. Well. So, just how special is this car to be going for so much? The car in question is a Type F300 with the chassis number 187, so there you go. That tells you everything you need to know right there. What, you don't see how that explains it? Amateurs. Alright, well, for your information, this car was used in 5 whole F1 races. And wait, really? That's it? Well, in a sport where there's a constant arms race to see who can build the fastest machine, I suppose it stands to reason that these cars can end up having a short shelf life, even among the best of them. But while it wasn't around long, there's no denying that it was used in a big way. It was first brought to the 98 Monaco Grand Prix, where it served as a spare, the vaunted T-car, as it were. Now, there's a bit of conflicting reports we've seen in our research, as some claim that it was never used in that race, while others say that Eddie Irvine, a teammate of Schumacher's, ended up taking it to 3rd place for a pretty solid debut. 90s Formula One stats for specific vehicles might not be the most well-tracked stats out there, it seems. What is known for a fact, though, is that in the following race, the car was assigned to Michael Schumacher for the first time, as he competed in the 98 Canadian Grand Prix. There he got his first win with chassis number 187. He'd go on to use it at the next 2 races as well, in the French and British Grand Prix respectively. That made for 3 straight victories for both Michael and the car in question, which already put it into a special air. It became the only Ferrari Formula One chassis to date to run at least 3 races and achieve victory in every single race entered. Later in the year, Schumacher would bring the trusty car back for the Italian Grand Prix, and to the surprise of no one, he took this race as well. While the car was retired not long after that, it was able to ride off in style, as it retired retired undefeated. It sounds kind of funny to use that word to refer to a car. You'd think the chassis number 187's been lounging on a beach, sipping oil from a glass with an umbrella in it for the decades since, because now I can't think about anything else. That's all well and good, but still, $8 million? Is it really worth that much? Not to, well, actually, you hear, but well, actually, it could end up being worth even more than that. Keep in mind, this is going to be up for auction here, so this could really get astronomical. It's said that Schumacher really adored this car, as you'd imagine, given how much it seemed to aid him. Jean Todt, Michael's former boss at Ferrari, claimed that he loved the car like a baby, which is quite intense. The official catalog on the chassis number 187 says, quote, "In its 23 years of custodianship, chassis 187 has been treated as a closely held and entirely preserved specimen of Formula One history," end quote. It goes on to explain that it's been shielded from the public and never restored from its as-raced condition. It's kind of like the logic of keeping a toy vacuum sealed to preserve value, except you're ensuring that it remains in authentic, flawed condition. Basically, it's a vehicle that I'm sure was expensive to make to start with a big place in the history of Formula One, a league, mind you, that has only grown exponentially in the last few years, that has been kept under very close watch so as to keep its value intact. And that's how a car can end up going for $8 million. My goodness, it's just no less staggering no matter how much you explain it. What else is going on in the world of Formula One? At the time of writing, the 2022 Formula One Championship is still ongoing, with defending champion Max Verstappen firmly in the driver's seat. He's sitting at a staggering 258 points, while second place Charles Leclerc trails way behind at 178. As we near the latter third of the competition, it's going to take a Herculean effort for anyone to top the Dutch phenom. Still, there's 9 Grand Prix left to be raced as of now, so there's still time for anything to happen in theory. Aside from that, we know that Formula One is getting a new docuseries coming out sometime in the next year, and it was recently revealed that none other than Keanu Reeves was involved in the project. If you'd like to hear more about this, well, it's your lucky day because we actually have another video all about that. It's likely already up by the time you've seen this one, so be sure to check that out for all the details. But that is all we have time for today. Are you planning on making a bid for the car yourself? I'm sure you and your friends can scrounge together a competitive enough price. But seriously, can you believe somebody's actually going to spend that much money on this thing? Are there any other F1 stories you'd like to see us cover like this? Be sure to let us know down in the comments below. And until next time, thanks for watching.